Hello, and welcome to today's MoodWellth practice. My name is Candace Ture, and it is an honor to be here with you today. Today I want to talk about perfectionism, where it comes from and why so many of us struggle with it. In my own life, I have used perfectionism like a social media filter. I use it to hide my authentic self because somewhere along the way in my journey with family, friends, church, school, community, and society at large, I was sent the message that who I am was not enough or was not good enough. So for me, striving to be perfect was a survival trait I learned over time. For those of us who live in Black and brown bodies or identify as melanated people, we see firsthand in this society what happens when Black and brown people make mistakes compared to those living in white bodies. Many times we feel that we can't afford to make the same mistakes as those who don't live in Black and melanated bodies. As a result, this causes so much anxiety and so much stress and so much burnout. Perfectionism can also come from various forms of trauma and just our attempt to be accepted and to be loved. I believe that unlearning the pressure to be perfect is a practice that starts with awareness and knowing how it shows up in your life. It starts with being honest with yourself about the ways in which the survival trait is no longer serving you, and then giving yourself permission to take the pressure off. If any of this resonates with you, I invite you to begin by just taking a long, deep breath, in through your nose and out through your mouth. Take another breath. And one more. Today we will connect with the energy of being enough, doing enough, and having enough exactly as we are in this present moment. I want to invite you to close your eyes if that feels right for you. Allow yourself to feel the surface you're sitting on supporting you. Feel your breath just moving through your body. Just connect with your existence right now. In this moment, you are already enough. In this moment, you are doing enough. And what you have right now in this moment is enough. If you can, go back to your first memory where you were given the message that you had to be perfect. Maybe it was in school, and you're a high-achieving student and you only received praise and attention when you brought home all A's or were doing well in sports. But when you weren't performing, maybe people didn't notice you or see you. Maybe it was in your church community where you received messages about what it means to be a person of faith, what it means to be a Christian, or what it means to love God. Maybe you were shamed when you made a mistake. Or maybe like me, it was when you transitioned to a predominantly white school or institution and you noticed that you didn't look like the people around you and you didn't talk like them. Or maybe you needed more practice in a certain subject, but when you asked for help, you were ignored. The younger version of you deserves to be seen and honored today. They are doing the best they can and may have used perfectionism or the illusion of perfectionism to survive the environment they were in. The truth is that perfectionism is baked in our society. It is a characteristic of white supremacy culture, and we are all fed lies, and it impacts us all, just in different ways. So just take a moment and get in touch with this younger version of you. What did they need in that moment? How are they feeling? The little girl in me who was transitioning to a predominantly white middle school needed to hear, "Candace, you belong here. Candace, you have a right to be here. Candace, you are doing enough." I encourage you to take a moment and offer the younger version of yourself whatever they needed to hear at the time. Maybe they needed to hear, "It's okay to make mistakes. I make mistakes too." Maybe they needed to hear, "Even in your imperfections, you are worthy of love, acceptance, and belonging." Maybe they needed to hear, You don't have to get it right the first time you try it. Keep experimenting. I'll be here with you. Keep trying. Take another deep breath and just continue to offer that younger version of yourself the kind and gentle words they needed to hear at the time. For some people, this younger version may actually be young adulthood. It may actually be just a year ago or a month ago. Oftentimes, we can reflect back on a very early memory, but sometimes it's a recent one. And so you can offer that version of yourself the encouragement they needed to. Pay attention to how your body feels as you say these words over yourself. Does your body relax and open up? Does your body feel tense? Perhaps your body isn't used to hearing something so gentle and kind. There are so many different ways that perfectionism will show up for us as we navigate life. It could show up when you start something new because it's afraid of failure. It may show up through procrastination and your avoidance of trying something new because you don't know how it will turn out. Maybe for you, it shows up in overextending yourself or feeling the need to prove your worth and that you're good enough. Think about the areas where you tend to overextend yourself. And just get curious if maybe messages of perfectionism are showing up. And how you volunteer, in school and work commitments, home, chores and responsibilities. Perfectionism is like rules. They give you rules about how you're supposed to show up that really are usually rigid and constricting. How does it show up after you make a mistake? Does a message of perfectionism beat you up? Usually there's no grace in perfectionism. There's no room to be human. At the end of this meditation, I want to encourage you to take a piece of paper and just jot down 3 ways that perfectionism tends to show up for you. What does it sound like? What does it feel like? How does it show up in your behaviors? Then as you go through life, just begin to notice and then meet it with compassion. It can sound like something like, I see you, perfectionism. I know you're trying to help me survive. We're okay right now. We're safe in this moment. We will be taken care of, even if we're rejected, even if someone says no, even if this doesn't turn out the way we hoped. In order to heal and unlearn perfectionism, it's also really important to have safe people in our lives where we can show up authentically and imperfectly and not have to constantly perform. For those of us that live in Black bodies in this country, we usually have to perform in school, at work, to assimilate to the different places that we're told to be in. But the truth is, we don't heal or grow or unlearn deeply ingrained beliefs on our own. We need new experiences that are often countercultural and counter the experience we've had. And sometimes this can be really hard to find. And I encourage you to think about 1 or 2 people in your life that you can practice showing up more authentically with. Maybe just being honest when you're having a bad day, or sharing when you need help. Maybe it's with a counselor or a wellness coach or a support group. Maybe you've been hiding something you really want to share. Think about the people in your life and how you can take steps to finding the people that give you the space to show up imperfectly. Do you make space in your life for people to be imperfect? I know for me, my perfectionism also held other people to deeply unrealistic expectations of perfectionism. It made it hard for me to connect with other people. But remember, you are a human being, and so are others. You deserve love, and you are worthy of belonging right where you are. We don't get to some idea of perfection by ourselves. We learn it over time. We internalize it from our experiences in society. And we can unlearn it. So as this comes to a close, I invite you to just Rest your hands on your chest, on your heart if that feels right for you, or you could put both hands on your head, but just feel your own touch. Feel the sensation of your hands in your body. Take a minute to just breathe and take in your essence. You are enough because you exist. You are enough because you are alive. We're going to end with an affirmation. If you want to repeat after me, you can. I'm loved and accepted as I am. I am loved and accepted as I am. I have a right to make mistakes and learn from them. I have a right to make mistakes and learn from them. Now give yourself a hug and just say your name and I love you. So for me, I would say, Candace, I love you. Candace, I love you. Thank you for practicing with me today, and thank you for showing up for yourself. Until next time.